So this is just a good way to add pressure to the attackers with literally just making holes. This angle is nasty. So yeah, making sure this is vaultable is really important. Like, this spot is just literally just the best spot. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another setup video. Default site setups for Clubhouse. In this one today, I just joined Parabellum. Big news. Parabellum Esports, North American League Pro League team. Joined them as a content creator. So super hyped about that. Let's get in to the actual video. So for these setups, you can use smoke, you can use mute, you can use anyone with a shotgun, to be honest, but this is just all the default stuff you'll want to do in order to kind of set your team up for success so that you have a higher win percentage in your defense rounds and you can actually win more defenses. Wow, that's a crazy thought. So right off the start on the CC bomb site, what I like to do is just open up holes in this wall before reinforcing it. And what this does is if they do have a Maverick, it'll make it a lot harder for him to actually mav the whole wall open properly, because it kind of messes with his blowtorch with the different like levels of scuff, I guess. It's just called scuff in the wall. It's just a really easy way to make it more difficult for Mav to open the wall. In terms of a rotate hole on the red wall, you want to make on the right side. You never want to reinforce off this wall. You never do. If you've been doing that, you're probably in a real low rank, and this is step one to getting out of that rank, is stop reinforcing this wall. So by setting up red this way, and usually I like to make this hole a little bigger just so I can throw my C4 or smokes a little nicer. What you can do is you can peek off the reinforcement, kind of peek off into the cache door. You can even make a hole on this side just for peeking, so that way they're not sure whether you're going to peek the left side or the right side of the reinforcement. So this is just a good way to add pressure to the attackers with literally just making holes. Now you can also smoke off the breach from here. You can smoke off like the con door from here. So this is a great spot to play a smoke, especially if they are coming from master side. So there you go. You got 3 walls down. Your next one you're going to want to put on the rafters wall here, and then open up head holes in the other side. A lot of people I see make rotates on this wall. You don't want to do that, because then if the attackers do get rafters control, they can just come in through this rotate. So it actually it works against you more than it works for you, because usually the rafters player, you're going to want to just sit here and play his life in rafters. You never really need him to rotate back into sight. And if that's the case, the breach is probably going to already be open. You won't be able to use this anyway. This wall, if you don't reinforce it, it does give a really juicy line of sight for the attackers from the breach to see anything in rafters. So you see as I walk across here. So as the rafters player, you can't play here because the breach players can kill you. They can see you from the breach. Here, if the wall's not reinforced, they can see you from the breach. But if this panel's reinforced, this is the safest spot to play in rafters. So this is usually where your rafters player will play with a couple of ADSs, whatever, so he doesn't get naded out. And here they can see from the breach as well. Now you could switch around the reinforcements and reinforce this, but playing 90 is a lot more sketchy than playing here. And that way, if you are in rafters, you can't like hold the cache push if this wall's reinforced. So the other thing about having the holes here is if they don't clear rafters, you can sit here and watch the push into cache with the safety of the reinforcement, of course, blocking off the breach. So even if they open the breach and they're pushing cache side, having these holes allows you to sit here and shoot them if they try to cross in while you're covered from the breach. So this is the optimal setup for rafters. In terms of the garage walls, I've seen some controversy in terms of the garage walls. So let's talk about it in a sec. Let's head over to construction first. Wow, that almost didn't come out. Let's head over to construction and talk about why you should be setting up construction this way. So you reinforce the cache wall, you open the construction hatch, and then you reinforce the outer construction wall. Before, when these were 2 walls, you wouldn't reinforce the outer wall, but now it's only 1 wall, you have the extra wall for the outer construction wall. Don't reinforce the logi walls. Unless you're 100% sure the teams are doing like master takes consistently, don't reinforce these 2 walls, because you don't need to. You don't need to hold control of construction, because this red setup will do it for you. Okay, so you don't need to reinforce these. Instead, you should be using these 2 walls for the bottom garage walls. So you want to reinforce all 4 of these bottom garage walls. But you can't do all 4 of these and also get both of the construction walls as well. So it's really important that you don't reinforce the construction walls so that you can reinforce these. Because if these are left soft, it makes it really easy for attackers to sledge in here or breach in here and then clear your player out of rafters like pretty much instantly. Another really strong thing you can do on this site with Cade is like put your Cades on the actual rafters, and it will get all 4 of the garage walls by putting 1 claw here and 1 claw here, and then it's like nearly impossible for the attackers to get into bottom garage unless they Maverick it open, which is pretty much the only, or Thatcher, I guess, if he's left up. That should be all your walls for this site. So you do want a couple more holes just in the floor here. And I know that this setup looks like it's taking really long, but really you have tons of time to do all this. As smoke, you're probably not going to get all the walls, but this is just kind of a general idea of what you should be reinforcing if you have the options. So making these holes is really great because if you have like a good sight, you can see all the way down into the rafter stairs. So if they push up the rafters, you can actually challenge them from this angle. And then if they try to run in the breach, you can actually see people running across from up on the screen box here. So you can see them if they run in. Holding an angle like this isn't the best idea because then they're just going to sit on the platform and be able to peek you. Whereas holding this, like a more passive angle, the attackers are then going to run in. They're not going to be coming in like this. They're going to be coming in looking at red, or they'll be sprinting across, not even taking the fight. Whereas if they're out on the plat, they might be peeking, trying to get a kill before they come in for that plant, right? These holes are great because you can actually see them walking into lounge. You can see their feet, and they can't really fight back on this. That's a nice little angle. This one's really good for if they try to come into stock without droning it. That's just like literally a free kill. It's just a shotgun to the face as they open the door. And a lot of time, even if they do drone it, they don't even check the holes in the floor. So that's another cheeky way to get a kill. And then in terms of your shield, I usually like to put mine red back here because that way you can watch the push in the breach again. You can contest the window a bit too if they do get rafters. The only thing is you'll want like an ADS or something because you can get it native from the drone hole pretty easily. Either that or you can put your shield in tuck, like facing the breach, like right here, backed up with some ADSs on the wall here. This is another pretty common one, but you can get native through the floor pretty easily from stock. You can get impacted through the floor. They're probably going to clear from the breach. So I prefer the red shield, but this shield also works pretty good. So that would be it for the cache setup. If you do have some barbed wire, you know, like say you have a duo who's running Jaeger, you know where his ADSs should go now. I would put like 1 or 2 barbed wire on the stairs here, just so that you know if they're coming up red, or proximity, or a trap, etc. Or a piece of barbed wire like under this server window for the hop-in, or an L-mine trap, etc. again. So those are like the weaknesses, I guess, of the strat, or maybe some on the rafters. So as they're coming up the rafter stairs and you're holding this angle, they're moving a little slower, so it's easier to kill them, you know? Okay, so let's talk about the church bomb site. It's always a classic to just reinforce these 3 walls because you just want to reinforce those 3. You want to get all 3 hatches unless your team's roaming. Of course, that'd be the kitchen hatch, the moto hatch, and the blue hatch. So there's the 3 hatches. The 2 dirt walls, so at the end of the dirt tunnel, there's 2 walls there. So that is 8 reinforcements. And then your 9th one will go in this middle blue wall. And the 10th one is kind of changeable. You can either do this ash wall, it's called, because people will ash it from the bottom of the stairs and run to Armory. So that's an option for it. Or you could even do this other blue wall as well, which I like doing personally. Or this one. So those are kind of your options. In terms of like the most default setup you'll get in the higher lobbies, you want to make this rotate in blue. This one as well. And make sure you are making them as close to the pillars as you possibly can. Especially for this one, because what will happen if you make it closer to the reinforcement side, somebody can come up and just hold an angle through sight, and that's not ideal. So you want to make sure you make it close to the pillar if you can. Get this blue wall. And what I like to do as well is just make this one sprintable, because that way if they are like trying to nade this guy out of the generator, he can sprint away without having to crouch to the rotate real slowly, because they can see it from the hatch. So being able to sprint through this makes it much less likely that you're going to be killed by a guy on secret or a guy in the hatch. So I make that sprintable personally. You can, if you really want, make this hole to see oil pit. You can have someone hold like from up here to watch oil pit, or even like a hole in the floor. I know that sometimes I'll do that, and somebody can watch oil pit from way back here. So that would be kind of like if they're not taking kitchen, because obviously if this hatch is open, you're not going to be able to do this. The next rotate hole is going to be on the armory wall, right in the middle here. You'll want to make this one a vault one, and this is a big deal. This one's a big deal. So you want to make it vaultable, and the main reason for that is that you can actually prone behind this chair and see the attacker's feet through the hatch. This angle is nasty. So you can see them as they're getting ready to drop the hatch, as they're dropping the hatch. This is going to be like your main step to blocking the drop from the hatch. So that either forces them to use smoke grenades to drop the hatch or push somewhere else. So that's just like super, super strong, super easy to do. Going back to blue for a second too, you'll want to make these holes. And I see these made sometimes, not a lot. But the main reason for this is if they don't open the moto hatch or they're not playing in the moto hatch, you can actually sit here and watch the secret push. So you can see the feet of the attackers before they can even see you, like, whatsoever. I've killed so many people on this spot. Like, this spot is just literally just the best spot, and probably my favorite thing to do on this site is just go prone and watch the push through here. You want to make this like shotgun hole beside the hatch here. So this is called impact tricking. You might not know what it is. You might know what it is. It's pretty common, but some people still don't know what it is. But what you can do is you can throw an impact grenade against the bottom of this cart to get any like thermites, habanas, or any hard breach tools on this hatch, basically, which will keep the hatch closed. So this is really, really strong, especially if Haban is banned, because she, of course, has the ability to do the 2 pellets, which makes it way easier to open the hatch. So impact tricking when Haban is banned is really huge on this site. Now, if you're playing against a team that doesn't like to work vertical control, so, you know, they're not bringing a sledge, they're not bringing a buck, they're not, like, opening up holes as much. This will happen a lot in, like, lower ranks where they won't open these floors. You can actually open up, like, the bottom of this wall and watch like the motor drop from here or the push up the hallway. You can even go prone like back here and watch like anyone coming down main stairs. So this would be, again, if they're not like opening the floor above you, but a lot of teams will still open this floor and this will be kind of useless. But you can still make the holes, and just in case they don't open the floor, you can always play it late in the round. Another really sneaky rotate on this site is this one. So this is like, you want to make it a little smaller if you can. And basically what this does, and I'll show you in a sec here, is from bottom main, you can't actually see it. So you can't actually tell there's a rotate hole there from an attacker's point of view unless you drone it. So what this allows you to do, if you know there's a guy bottom main, you can peek out on this and like get some really easy kills, because if they don't know it's there, they're going to be holding an angle like this, or they're going to be holding an angle like this, and when you pop out of the middle of the wall, they're going to be thrown off. This has happened to me. This is how I learned about it, is I got absolutely smoked off of it. So that's another kind of sneaky thing you do. And again, that's if they're not going to open the floor up, then it's going to be even stronger. In terms of your shield for this site, there's a bunch of different options. You can either put it here, like facing the hallway for main. You can put it AK rack for blue, or the most common I think that you'll see is in the dirt tunnel here. Combo up with like a Jaeger ADS to protect it, and then you can contest dirt. So this is like, a lot of teams will just go straight dirt, and this is a great way to counter that. One last thing you can also do is open up these holes above the church wall. You jam yourself in the corner with the chair and like the bottles and stuff, and you aim at this dot and line up with this light. So you line up with the dot and the light, and it should be right on this mark on this line in the floor, and then you throw your nitro. It'll be a perfect nitro that'll land at bottom main, and you can just like explode anybody bottom main stairs. The last site we're going to talk about today is going to be the gym bedroom bomb site. We're not going to talk about bar. We're not going to get into that. So for gym, this is also a really good site. I think honestly on this map, like all 3 sites are kind of interchangeable, with basement being the best for the most part. But gym and CC are kind of evenly matched in my opinion. But I like gym. I like gym site. I'll show you how to set it up. I'll show you how to win it. Oh! So the rotate hole will go on the wall here. I don't know why I just used an entire mag to make a rotate hole. It should only take like 4 shots, ideally. But then you want to make footholes all along this site, reinforce this wall. So this is what your gym site should look like, along with the hatch open. So you have the rotate here. I actually wouldn't make these footholes because I wouldn't make... Don't make the holes here. Just make the rotate on this wall and then make the holes here. Yeah, sorry, I scuffed that up a bit. I don't know why I'm like, this is like the most garbage setup. You shouldn't be using this much ammo for this, but hey, I guess I'll just emphasize my point. Make this a vault rotate here. You want to reinforce both these. You can scuff this wall as well, like do the shotgun holes if you know they're bringing a Maverick and you have like a Cade or whatever, but most of the time they're just going to nade off the Cade from the drone hole anyway, so it's not a big deal. And then you'll reinforce this one bathroom wall. ADSs in here are huge as well because it will protect you from any nades coming from Jacuzzi. But then usually like playing here with your pump is a good way to like stop them if they're trying to run in here. Or you can like prone up on this wall and force them to vault through to actually like shotgun them as they vault through. But having this non-vaultable makes it really easy for them to just come in and sprint into bathroom because there's nothing to stop the sprint. So yeah, making sure this is vaultable is really important. So I see a lot of people reinforce these walls, which is the last thing you want to do, and make the rotates on the side of the walls. For this one, you'll want to make the rotate right in the middle. So what happens if you make the rotate on this side of the wall, and I'll show you here. they can actually get this angle from the gym window onto this rotate. So if you see people making this rotate hole, kill them from the gym window. Just hold this angle from the gym window, and you will see a guy rotate there and the die. If you make it on this side of the wall, you can see it from the master window. So if you make it kind of like on this third panel area, then you're protected from both windows. So if this wall isn't shotgunned open, obviously, then there's not an actual angle you can get from this window onto where the rotate is right here, as you can tell. This is just like the edge of the window frame. So you can't actually see this. You can't actually see this from either of the two windows, which is why this like center rotate is the best. So don't open this, don't open this. Just make the rotate right in the middle of the wall and you're chilling. For the, what's this called? Construction wall, you'll want to make the rotate on the right, vaultable again, and reinforce this left wall. So you reinforce this, open up the gym hatch. Okay, so at this point you have 4 reinforcements left. You've set up all of master, you've set up all of gym, you set up logistics. So there's a couple different options you can do. You can either reinforce both the cache walls and extend out and reinforce the servers wall as well. Put a rotate in red hall and hold red stairs. So this is kind of like, this is if you got a coordinated team, this is probably your best bet because that way it can test the entry over here. So this is a good way to set it up. Either that, or you can actually reinforce off this con wall and then do the 2 outer server walls, which will slow down their push into server primarily. And then you can hold construction with a shield and some ADSs like over here. So this is another option if you want to stay a little closer to the bomb site. The only other hole you might want to make is this hole in the floor because you can watch the kitchen window hop in from it, or a hole in the floor here to watch the kitchen door. In terms of where you actually want to play, I like playing the smoke in the bathroom. You can use your smokes to waste time on construction once they have it. You can play the pump here on the breach like we mentioned before. You can smoke off behind the generator where they would plant. Yeah, gym kind of depends on the way the other team is pushing. But for the most part, this setup is going to be ideal in terms of safety, but also plant deniability. So if they're coming in from, say, the jacuzzi breach, you can kill them through this gym door with these holes. You can sit back here and kind of see their toes and shoot them as they run in. So there you go, guys. Those are the 3 main sites on Clubhouse, how to set them up, how to do a little better while you're defending them. Let's get that win rate up. Let's win some more games. Let's rank up. Let's get that rank you've been thriving for your whole life. As you can tell, I'm a fucking champion. And let me know in the comments if I missed something or you have some unique Clubhouse defense tips of your own. And have a fantastic day, guys. Thank you for watching. Peace out.